top 5s are back! Holy shit!
They are?
Yeah!
Oh, so that's why we're here.
Alright guys, so I want to apologize that we haven't been doing nearly as many top 5s as we used to, but our lives have gotten really busy over the past couple of months or even like the past 2 years. And I know you guys have missed the summer top 5, so I thought, you know what, let's get back into doing them.
Bring them back.
And not just that, but yes, we will be doing the top 5 summer films in August, that you guys know. Yes. And not to mention, so we have this month's top 5, we have June, July's, we'll have a second top 5 in June for E3 for games, so look forward to that. But now, so you guys may recall us doing a list like this called top 5 films that we hate but everyone else likes. So essentially, this is kind of our redo of that list.
Part 2.
Yeah, our part 2. So if you guys couldn't guess by the title already, this is our top 5 most overrated films of the decade.
Yeah.
So far. And so with me, Alex, Episode 90, and Joe, they were gracious enough to wait as I was hauling ass just to get my audio cable. So guys, thank you for bearing with me. Seriously. So basically, this is our criteria for making this list. So in order for a film to be overrated, at least on my scale, it has to be over 75% or over on the Rotten Tomato meter for the fresh meter. And of course, we do have honorable mentions.
Let's see. We got The Fighter. Again, rapid fire. The first part of the Deathly Hallows Harry Potter movie, complete waste. They could have just done part 2 by itself. Despicable Me.
Despicable Me, are you sure that's a 75 foot over?
Yeah.
No, it is.
Okay, no, yeah, that's the first one is. Yeah,
you're
the
thinking
first
of
one.
the second. Super 8. And, yeah, it was basically E.T. Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
I loved it. Starting with Avengers Age of Ultron, The Hunger Games, the first Hunger Games, Kong Skull Island, very recent, Sully, and American Hustle.
All right, my 5 honorable mentions are Inherent Vice,
I still haven't seen that film.
Lincoln, Drive,
Yeah, I can see that.
Midnight in Paris, and Everybody Wants Some.
And I love that film. Alright guys, so those were honorable mentions. Let's get into our top 5 most overrated films of the decade and try not to get into a bloodbath while doing so. So, let's get on.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Number 5.
I don't know why people like this one, but it's Ant-Man.
I love Ant-Man.
I don't know. It just didn't really strike me. Because what was it? Yellow Jacket was the villain in this one?
Yeah.
Completely forgettable. And when a villain is forgettable.
I will say he was the weakest. Like it basically felt like a redo of Iron Man essentially.
Yeah, it just.
I loved it though.
I don't know, because like without a strong villain, the movie's not really that great, and that's always been like a thing with me. So like, Ant-Man. I mean, do we really know that many great Ant-Man villains?
No, I think there's 2: Yellow Jacket and the Wasp.
Well, the Wasp is a hero.
Yeah, the Wasp is Evangeline Lilly in the newest one, which I cannot wait to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So.
Alright, my number 5 is gonna cause a lot of controversy because I'm a huge fan of this director. However, okay, so I can't say this is overrated but overpraised. Yes. For me, this is Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Which one?
The David Fincher remake. I put this on myself because I watched the original before I saw the remake, and if you look at both films side by side, this is essentially the same movie. Except for Fincher, he maybe added or redid a few different things, but really, if you look at it side by side, it's essentially the same movie. It's not a shot-by-shot remake like, let's say, Psycho was, which I haven't seen still. Essentially, the same things happen in both films. I'm not saying I hate the film. I still like the film, but really, you could really, honestly, you wouldn't be missing much if you saw the remake, and I love David Fincher's films. This is easily, I think, my least favorite Fincher film, but I do still like it, but the ending, though, I thought was trash, to be honest. I feel like if Fincher went in his own direction, this would have been so much better. The original film, watch the original film, it's incredible.
Okay, my number 5 is probably going to be a little bit surprising because this one did win the Oscar. And when you look back at this year, King's Speech.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that a whole lot because you were forced to watch it.
I was forced to watch it. Yes.
Oh, you were? I didn't know that.
Like this project I had to do.
Makes sense.
About the
okay
MPAA.
Really? That's why?
Yeah, but don't you remember me showing you a video about that? MPAA?
I don't actually.
What happened? Really, this one won the Oscar over Social Network and Inception,
Black Swan, The Fighter.
Sorry, Toy Story 3.
Toy Story.
Yeah, Toy Story 3. Yeah.
You know, so many great movies,
Yeah.
but this one won. I just don't understand.
I mean, I like the film a lot.
Same, but then again, no, Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, just look at the film in general. It just was so overrated as hell.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I compare this to, let's say, The Social Network or even Black Swan or Inception, this film doesn't hold a candle light to those.
No, this is nowhere near it.
No.
So, yeah.
I like it.
Number 4.
We got another MCU movie for this one. But this one, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. The first one. Because I like the second one a lot better. Alright, look. Ego is a better villain.
I'm just kidding.
Ego's a better villain.
I agree with
jokes are
that.
funnier. The character development's a lot better. Plus, you cry at the end.
I cried a lot more in the first Guardians.
No, I cried a lot more than in the second one.
Yeah, because David Hasselhoff's song in the one.
And plus, Drax is funnier in this. They sort of
That's the thing I don't like about Guardians Volume 2 is that they reduced Drax to a comedian when he's the Destroyer. He doesn't have a fight scene in the second one.
He's funny in the comics too.
Still though, he's called Drax the Destroyer. I don't want him to be joke. I just thought it to be like a sitcom, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like, you compare everything from that to the first movie. They're not as developed. They're not. I mean, the villains is like this blandish shit.
That I will agree. Ronan is horrible.
And it was boring.
Then again, he's the only guy who gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I gave Volume 2 a 4 because because it struck me emotionally, man.
Better than the first one?
Yeah.
God, I can't say that at all, to be honest with you.
Eh.
So my number 4 is gonna cause a lot of controversy with Lucas because I know he loves this movie, but I was not a huge fan of this one. Again, this is a film that I like, but the more I thought about it, I'm just like, this got an Academy Award nomination. It's Anomalisa. Here's the thing I will say. The animation, beautiful animation. I love stop motion animation films. Love those. I mean, Isle of Dogs I thought was really good. Kubo and the Two Strings. Love Kubo and the Two Strings. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Coraline.
Fuck yes. I was highly looking forward to this one because it got all this buzz and people were saying this is such a great character piece and that it's like the most human film in the year that doesn't involve humans. And again, amazing stop motion and I love how it's so contained, but I was bored watching this film. Like so damn bored. The main two leads, David Thewlis and Jennifer Aniston Lee, do a great job, but it doesn't help that literally every other character is voiced by an old male. Literally, every kid in that film is voiced by a male. Every female is voiced by an old male, and every male is voiced by an old male. Literally, every single other character that's not voiced, that's not the main character, is voiced by a singular person, which I admire that, but it kept throwing me off. And not to mention that the guy is pretty much a cheating asshole, essentially. There were a couple of scenes in it that made me go like, that's cool, but other than that, I just thought, this is the film that people have been praising? Really? Again, I don't hate this film. I think it's fine. Lucas, sorry buddy, but I just wasn't the biggest fan. I didn't see the huge character study that everyone else saw. Yeah, number 4.
My number 4 is the first of a unnecessary trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Pitch Perfect.
I think I liked the first Pitch Perfect.
The second one was better.
I did like it at first, but after rewatching it again and again and again,
That's
what happens when you watch it again and again.
That's how I'm about my number 1, but although I only watched it twice.
And same with mine. And again, it's just repetitive, and this is probably one of the most unnecessary trilogies we've ever seen.
A buddy of mine will agree with you.
I mean, honestly, why did there need to be a trilogy off of this movie?
Yeah.
Musa.
No, forget about the Musa. Forget about the Moolah. No, it's just girls singing.
And?
That's it.
American Idol does that all the time.
Yeah, but that's not a movie.
If only Simon Cowell was on those films. Then again, I haven't seen a single Pitch Perfect
Snoop
film.
Dogg
So.
was in the second one with the Christmas
Christmas
album.
album.
It wasn't Keegan Michael Key one of them too?
Yeah, he was the boss for like Anna Kendrick's character.
And the third one?
Second one.
Second, third. I don't know.
I haven't even seen a
Green
single
Bay
one of these
Packers
movies.
were in the second one too. It's currently at, I think, a 982 on Rotten
Yeah, it
Something
got
like
a lot
right
of
now.
praise.
Yeah, something like that.
Pretty high. I don't understand the high praise for it, and it's highly overrated. So it's my number 3. 4.
All right. My third one. I remember we were actually sitting for a movie night during this.
Oh.
Yeah, You see, you remember we were sitting down with Vin and we were barely even watching it.
Yeah,
We were
and
so-
Lucas was like, "Pay attention!"
and they were like, "No,
Whoa!
because Nightcrawler
See?
Nightcrawler pissed me off."
Oh yeah, because
That-
the news.
That's why I was
Yeah.
saying, what?
I used to work at the news, and the stuff that they did in that movie would not function in the real
Oh
world.
my god. Oh.
Yeah, news stations don't go to well, at least the station I worked for, they don't go to private people and say, "Hey, we like to capture some of your stuff so that we can use it." The government in that movie was just complete idiots. They don't know how to be the FBI, especially considering they shot dead bodies. Usually the news station would get sued. The person that ended up shooting the footage would have had repercussions done to him.
That was one of my favorite films of 2014.
Yeah, and, there's just like so many illogical things, and I don't know how it is in Los Angeles, but here in Florida, no, and that's probably why people make
That's
fun
Los
of us.
Angeles!
I don't even know if that happens in Los Angeles either.
That's true.
Yeah, because I don't know if they have like private people going around like shooting things, because then
City
you
of
would hear about it.
Angels.
You know, because people would rather
City of
get
Demons
stuff
more
from
like it at
social
that point.
media than they would from
Yeah.
private people. I mean, think about it. Twitter, Facebook, news gets clips from them. And so the story, I was like, it doesn't really go alongside with what I see as reality in a lot of ways. So it kind of hurt the storyline for me. Plus, it's like, oh my god, I'm so passionate about this job because I feel like this is the only thing that I'm really good at. Oh, you could make your own YouTube videos, man. Just saying. So, anyway,
Alright, so my number 3 is a recent film. This was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars recently. And a lot of people were telling me I had to see this film. And Call Me By Your Name is my number 3. Yeah, I was not a big fan of this movie, to be honest. I wasn't a big fan. And here's the thing, okay? I know a lot of people are gonna say you just didn't get what the film was about. I got what the film was about. I know it's about more of the tension between these two characters and their actual relationship. But here's the thing. I didn't get that until like an hour into it, and this is an over 2.5 hour film that just felt like it was just plodding along for me. I will say this. Acting is great. Timothy Chalamet is amazing in this film, as is Michael Stolberg. And Armie Hammer is great. This is Armie Hammer's best performance besides The Social Network, without a doubt.
Oh, come
But-
on, Lone Ranger.
You get out of here.
underrated.
Exactly.
You get out of here too. This is one of those films where like I'm just thinking like this got nominated over Wonder Woman, over Logan, over The Disaster Artist. Blade Runner should have been nominated over this film. I totally got what the film was about, but it just took forever to get there, and even after that point, I still wasn't even into it. This film, I feel like could have been cut so much down from a 2.5 hour film to maybe hour 45, maybe hour 50. Don't get me wrong, the ending is great, but it just never resonated with me. I don't get why it won an adapted screenplay over Logan or The Disaster Artist. Just saying, because this film, again, it just bored me. I just wasn't in tune with it until like an hour in it. Even then, I was just like, oh, so that's what we're getting into. Finally, I wouldn't say I hate it. I give it like a 2.5 out of 5. So yeah,
Call Me By Your Name.
no, number 3.
Well, Austin, it's kind of interesting you mentioned something from this past year's Oscars, because mine is also from this past year's Oscars. And it's exactly like how you said, however, it's a different movie. My number 3 is Phantom Thread.
Oh yeah.
I haven't finished it, but from what I've seen, I'm loving it.
It's kind of exactly how you felt, Austin. It's, the relationship between the two. It's like,
Yes.
what's going on? Like, how are you, what's going on? I
Yeah.
will agree. Daniel Day-Lewis
amazing.
was
Amazing.
good as Mr. Woodcock.
fucking
although
elementary school people here.
Billy Bob Thornton did it better. But the pacing of this movie was pretty slow. The plot point, I really didn't understand the plot until like an hour and a half.
That's how I was with Call Me
into
by
it.
Your Name. Yeah, that's how I was. I was just like, where is
Hour
this
and a half
going?
into it, like what is happening? What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the payoff? What's going on? And then when you finally get the payoff, it's like, really? So you do
that,
and then
and then you do that,
and then
and then you
what
get
happened? But yeah, I thought this was probably the weakest of the bunch. So yeah,
They could have put all the money in the world
Phantom
in there.
Thread, aka Mr. Woodcock number 2, is my number 3.
Well, I'm surprised this is considered overrated because on Metacritic it's not, but on Rotten Tomatoes it is. So that's why those two websites are at a civil war with each other.
Oh. Well,
I think I know what it is on your end.
no.
And Austin didn't.
Don't.
And Austin didn't think that this was gonna be on there because we checked the Wikipedia page and it's like, well, it was a 74 on Wikipedia, but it's a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know why Kingsman is overrated. Well, it is.
Okay. Wasn't
It's
what I was thinking.
Kingsman. The first one, not
Okay.
the Golden Circle, the Secret Service.
That's one of my favorite spy films ever.
Wasn't what I was thinking. Okay.
I mean, the only great scene was the church scene. Kingsman could have been Colin Firth just killing everybody in the church with Samuel Jackson, just be like, motherfuck, and then it just says the end. And that's how the movie could have ended. The
That's-
rest, eh.
That's my favorite action scene of the decade.
I mean, at least Golden
What?
Circle had Elton
Yeah.
John. I loved Elton John in the Golden
Same, I
Circle.
Over
loved
the-
him.
Over the kitchen fight in the raid too?
Yes, because here's the thing, in the kitchen,
Well,
the
that's
kitchen,
not a spy movie.
Doesn't matter. Action scene.
because the kitchen fight, you knew that was coming. Where this one, you didn't know it was coming at
that
all.
that
It was the element of
The
surprise.
meth lab scene?
Oh, easily.
Eggsy, I was like, I don't really like Eggsy. I liked him better in the second movie, actually. Colin Firth was like, yes, he's really. I mean, I like Colin Firth in here. He was really
Should've
strong.
liked
But
the
Samuel
claw.
Jackson being this sort of
Yes.
Spike Lee style, like lisp type of character. I mean,
That was great.
I don't know. You know what would have made it a lot better? And Tyler Perry.
Fuck
Oh my
that.
God.
Tyler
no.
Perry would have been a better choice.
No, that's
Because
where I'm drawing the
he
line.
could have done the list better. He could have actually provided a little bit of comedy in there. Just not as Medea. though.
Providing comedy.
Just not as
Tyler
Medea
Perry.
though. As long.
God, I love
Um,
Kingsman so
So
much.
anyway,
All right, so my number 2 is a film that came out back in 2012, and I didn't see this until
Oh.
2 years later. A lot of people had this on their
Not-
best of the
not-
years list, and this was a film people were telling me it's such an engrossing film. I came out frustrated, and this film is Compliance. What did you think it was?
I thought you were gonna say Argo.
I love Argo. The Compliance
I
is
don't
a film that's
remember
based on a true story, and basically it follows this restaurant chain. A person gets a call from what is supposed to be a police officer, but it turns out this person is prank calling them, and essentially this person is making them do things that really an officer wouldn't really do, and it made me think, okay, these guys are the biggest dumbasses for falling for this prank call. Seriously, because an officer wouldn't make you go nude or wouldn't make you do jumping jacks if a girl was nude, perform a blowjob on a guy. It just,
What?
as you can see, I was frustrated as hell with this film. By the way, the performances in this movie are actually pretty good. That's one of the things I can say, and it's well shot. But everything that happens in this movie as the plot progresses just made me go like, the cop would never call you. They would literally show up to the establishment and say, hey, we have a warrant for your arrest. I was not a fan of this film whatsoever. People were telling me, oh, this is gonna make you feel disgusted. Yeah, I sure felt disgusted, sure, but I felt just as mad because I could not believe how stupid these people were. I can't believe that things like this actually happen out there. And by the way, this actually happened at a restaurant. I don't know how the restaurant manager didn't get the advice of, oh, maybe I should call an actual police station when one of the employees say, what this person is asking me is not right. Yeah, like, come on. Again, I know people love this film. I personally am in the very small minority for this one. So yeah, Compliance. Sorry for those of you who loved it. I just could not get into this. I left this thing going like, this is what people loved? Really? So yeah, number 2.
My top 2 is gonna piss one of you off, and the
It's
other
gonna
one
be
is
him.
gonna piss the other you off. It
No,
just
it's gonna
depends
be
on
all
which
him.
one. So my number 2 was back in 2013, I want to say. It was the second of a double header that we saw. Me and Joe saw. Is the day
Oh,
after
okay.
Christmas.
Yes, okay. I
And
know
that
which one it
is American Hustle.
I'm okay with it, actually.
No, I'm okay.
Okay,
No,
that's good.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
David O. Russell, I will admit, he is a great director.
Yes, he is.
This is probably his weakest movie.
Well, if you've seen Joy.
I haven't seen Joy yet, so I can't really say.
You
Yes.
have this cast, this all-star cast: Christian Bale, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence,
Bradley Cooper.
Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner's in this.
Jeremy Renner's in this.
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Great actors and actresses, and this
Yeah.
is the script that they come up with.
Actually, it was all improvised.
This movie, I just didn't understand what was so awesome about it.
I'm with you. It was a film I was hyped for because I loved the town and not the town. That was
Great
Ben
costume
Affleck.
design was
I
fantastic.
mean, the fighter.
The costume was fantastic.
Yeah, the costume design was great, and the
fantastic.
ending was cool too.
Yeah, and how it was shot in the 70s style, that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And it was Italian.
Of course you would say
Yeah.
that.
it was a mishmash of blah.
It was based on
Yeah.
real events, too.
I can't believe that.
It was just a mishmash of blah.
Yeah, I agree on that
So
one.
yeah, that's my number 2, American Hustle.
It's number 1.
I'll give you 2 words. Vegan police. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's the most overrated movie of all time. Of all time? Of all time.
That's one of my
for me.
favorite films of all time.
No.
Oh, it's my favorite Edgar Wright film.
No, it's...
You're tearing me a poncho.
Yeah, deal with it. He's just a wimp. This isn't wrestling where you expect the underdog to kind
Ramona
of like
Flowers.
come onto the
That's
top.
she started my love for redheads.
You know, and then yeah, I don't
saying.
I mean it.
Red, and then she had blue hair, and then she had
Red,
Then she
green
had
hair.
green hair. And it's like how many hair colors can you go through in one movie? And it just felt like the pop culture references were just like all over the place.
Oh, I love the pop
And-
culture references.
Especially at the beginning when you hear the Zelda thing.
That was great.
It was just put there to be put there. Scott Pilgrim was not real. I mean, he just comes off as this, okay, I will get the win at the last minute because for some reason that's what the script told me to do. I don't know. He's not a badass. When I think superhero, I think
He's not meant to be a
badass.
badass.
Vegan police.
I know. That's yeah, and that's the other thing too. Vegan police.
That
that's-
had me cracking
that
up.
came out of left field. Like, okay, are we going to establish how this all came to be? How did their vegan police get here? I
like
want to
that.
know all about that stuff,
Just
but
like
they
that.
never
It
established
was the element of
It just-
surprise.
it
That's why I
happened just
loved
like
it.
that.
It was the element of surprise, which is why I loved it.
It was just like, oh, hey, vegan police, hello. And I actually talked to one of my best friends about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I agree with you. Scott Pilgrim is is just not what I would see in a
I
superhero.
love Scott Pilgrim
But-
so much.
And the fight scenes are totally forgettable. I totally forgot like all the fights.
Including the Katinagi twins fight?
Yes, I forgot about
I
that.
think that's one of the most badass
The only
fights
reason
of
I
the
remember
decade.
Vegan Police because you guys were cracking up, and I'm like, how did this even come to be? You wonder why there's never been a sequel to it.
Because they didn't make enough money.
Exactly. So the fact that it's like, oh, people praise it, but not many people cared enough.
Because
So that's-
Expendables came out.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Expendables.
Oh, hey, at least that one was memorable because
Yeah.
it had like.
I actually don't like the
past and
first
present.
Expendables at
The
all.
second
Stone
one's
Cold.
awesome. Even if you think something's really great, if the money's not there, they're not going to make any more, and they didn't. And I kind of agree with that. So,
Alright guys, this is my most overrated film of the decade so far. Now here's the thing. I adore this film company to death. I really do. And this was a film I was looking forward to because again, I love this film company. I had no idea what it was about. I stayed away from all the trailers and I walked into this absolute bore fest of a film. Absolute bore fest, and it's a ghost story. This
ghost
Wow.
story.
yeah,
Oh, of course, a horror film.
It's not a horror film. It's a supernatural drama, actually. The poster makes it look like a horror film, which is what I thought it was kind of going to be, but then I just remembered, oh yeah, it's going to be more of a drama. And here's the thing, okay? This film is trying to tell its story through visuals, which I admire. I love visual storytelling. Look at Dunkirk. That film was a bravado in visual storytelling. I love that film so much. We're here... This is quite literally where only visuals can get you so far. It's shot amazingly. There's good performances when there is acting in it. Rooney Mara is maybe in the film for 15 minutes max. And there are just scenes that go on and on and on. and on and on and on and on and on. And there's a scene where Rooney Mara eats a pie that goes on what feels like a half an hour when it's only 8 minutes long.
It's like a wacky deli episode.
Yeah, no kidding.
She's eating a pie because she's mournful, she's full of grief for her husband, which I get. I got the context, but when I'm watching the scene, I'm just going like, okay, can we cut this? And there's a scene, again, that goes on for far too long, where we see Casey Affleck sitting on this hospital bed in hospital sheets. And again, I was just like, I was literally in the screening room going like, cut? Or can something go,
Next scene.
please? I get the point of the film. It's about watching this ghost, watching as life goes on. And one of the other things that I was not a big fan of, and I was warned about this before I saw the film, was that it's shot in that letterbox. It's shot in a 4:3 format. It still looks amazing, but even then I was just like, okay, is this gonna go widescreen at some point? The sidebars distracted the crap out of me. And here's the thing: this is from A24 Films. I
Asshole
adore
24.
this. Don't you dare! I love this film company to death. The Witch, Ex Machina. What else? Killing of a Sacred Deer, Green Room, Moonlight. Yes. What else is there? Fucking love Lady Bird. The Disaster Artist, thank you. What else? Locke came out from then. When I compare films like A Ghost Story to films like The Witch or films like The Disaster Artist or Locke, when I put a studio like that in high regard and this is the film I got out of it, I'm just like, really, guys? Yeah, that's my number one right there.
Okay, this movie came out a couple years ago, I want to say.
I feel like I know what this is.
And this movie, I saw it 3 times, and every single time I watched it, it was boring all the way throughout, but the last 30 minutes was awesome.
Wow, you get this film 3 tries.
And it's kind of ironic that we're getting a sequel to this in a few weeks, because I hope and pray to God that it's not overrated like this one is. My number 1 most overrated film of the decade so far is Sicario.
Oh, God damn it!
Man.
I was waiting for Mad Max.
No, because we're not getting a sequel to Mad Max.
Like you said with your number 1, Ghost Story, scenes kept going on and on and on and on and on.
Damn.
But then, when you get to the night vision scene, all the way to the very end, that was freaking awesome.
And Benicio del Toro is actually the focus of the sequel, so.
Yes, and that is why I'm looking forward to this.
Okay.
But-
Okay, that makes sense.
But this movie with Charlize Theron and
Emily Blunt,
Or-
you mean.
sorry,
Blunt.
Emily Blunt.
Wrong blonde.
Completely different film.
The action scenes were very good, I will admit.
There's not really much
some
action.
of them were all right.
There's
I
not
mean,
much action, to be honest. It's more of a thriller.
more of a story, like
Yeah, it's story.
blah 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 blah.
Guy loves
Pointless
Sicario.
dialogue. Shot beautifully, I will admit that, because it was in
Roger Deakins.
The last half hour is fantastic.
Yeah, lots of
If that was, if we got more of that, that would have been so much better. You know?
Mhm.
But it was just, I didn't understand the hype of it. I believe this has a 80s.
No, it's in the 90s.
Like I said, I hope and pray to God that this one is much better than this one.
It's a sequel.
Oh,
so no.
I think it
It
will
will
be.
be.
Taylor Sheridan wrote it, so
That doesn't mean anything.
he wrote the original one.
And?
Del Toro.
And
It's
Del
more
Toro.
Del Toro.
Did you like Wind River?
No.
Mighty River.
You didn't like Wind River?
No.
That film was amazing.
Yeah, Sicario is my number 1 most overrated film of the decade.
Alrighty, guys. Well, those are our most overrated films of the decade. I am shocked by these two, especially your number
I'm shocked by
one.
yours.
By number 1, really?
Because it was a supernatural movie.
You thought mine.
I thought you were supposed to Mad Max, because I know how much you thought that was
Mad Max.
overrated. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the list. Let the controversy come. I know you guys are gonna be like,
Oh, Austin!
how dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, do a 24-hour comment on it.
So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please let us know below what your most overrated films of the decade are, and also let us know below a few honorable mentions while you're at it. If you guys want the most underrated films of the decade next month, please let us know below. We'd be happy to do that, because there are a lot I could think of actually on the top of my head for those. Thanks to Alex and Joe for joining me on this one, for revealing theirs as well. I guess until June's top 5, we'll see you guys then. Have a great day. We'll see you guys next time.